What does it take to create a vibrant, thriving life? First, the sad news is that Thoreau was right. Most people are leading quiet lives of desperation, lacking in meaning, fulfillment, and vitality. But we choose more. We choose to create extraordinary lives. And the Art of Vibrant Living show entertains you with inspiration, empowerment, and education to create your life into a masterpiece. It's time. Let's vibe up.
Aloha, y'all. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Daniel Aaron, and I'm so glad you are here. This is the Art of Vibrant Living show, and hopefully, indeed, yes, we shall entertain you. I sure hope, though, that more than that, you will listen, learn, and apply something. One of the gold nuggets that Erik brings you today, apply it in your life, try it out, put it into practice, because information is not transformation. You are here, so get the most out of it. I am delighted with Erik as our guest today. He has spent decades shaping voices that you already trust, whether you realize it or not. Erik K. Johnson brings more than 35 years of radio mastery to a powerful conversation on what it truly means to become somebody worth listening to. Somebody worth listening to. So, Erik, thank you so much for being with us.
Daniel, thanks for having me. It's fantastic to be here.
Right on. So, someone worth listening to. Ooh, I can feel somebody in the air bristling at that. What do you mean, isn't everybody worth listening to? What do you mean by that?
I mean by somebody worth listening to, I mean why you rather than everybody else. So if you're creating content, if you're the expert and the authority in your niche, why are you different than everybody else rather than just a little bit better? So many experts, authorities, content creators want to be better than the competition. I don't want you to be better. I want you to be different. I don't want you to be a different shade of gray like Seth Godin says in Purple Cow. I want you to be the purple cow. I want you to be the one that gets noticed. So when it comes to all of the other content creators in your niche, why you?
Yeah, I love that. And I heard somebody say the other day, this just came back to me, that have you ever noticed that the people that have nothing to say take forever to keep saying it? And so often the people that have so much to say, they're not saying that much, right? So,
Yes.
well, let's go to the nasty side of the pond for a minute. What is it that can instantly turn people off? Like what could we be doing, those of us that want to have something to say or be worth listening to, what could we be doing unconsciously that's just turning people off?
It's the opposite of what you think it is. Most people think, I can't be really opinionated. I can't be really boisterous. I can't share my perspective because some people might not like me. And the truth of the matter is when you try and ride the fence, people aren't going to like you. Because if I said, hey, rate you on a 1 to 5 scale, if I went out and asked all of the Daniel listeners to rate Daniel on a 1 to 5 scale, 1, I hate it, can't watch it. 5, I absolutely love it. If everybody says 3, you're dead in the water, because 3 just means I could take it or leave it. Like if it wasn't here, I wouldn't miss it, but I watch it when there's nothing else on. Like you don't want to be a 3 because 3 is flatlined. You want 5s and 1s, but people are so afraid of the 1s. They're, if somebody doesn't like me, I won't grow. Nobody will consume my content. But it's the opposite. If you have a lot of 5s, you don't need to worry about the 1s because the 1s aren't coming for your content anyway. The 1s aren't going to buy what you have to sell. The 1s aren't going to follow your mission. The 1s are just there to be trolls. So ignore them, super serve the 5s, share your opinion, share who you are, get them to love you for who you're being. So the thing most people miss is they lean too much into their content They're 6 steps to success,
Hmm.
and they don't lean enough into their context. They don't lean enough into their opinion and their perspective and their story around the content they're sharing. Nobody's coming for your 6 steps to success. AI can create that much faster than you can. So if you're only sharing information, you're dead. You need to transform that information into engaging entertainment and bring people to your show again and again and again.
Hallelujah. I love that. So it's you're giving us permission and encouragement to actually be real anyway, to stop
Yes.
crying and worrying about what criticism might be there. In fact, part of what
Yeah.
I hear you saying, I have a client of mine swears that I said this. I don't think I did, but he swears that I said to him at one point, this is his greatest testimonial, "You're nobody until somebody hates you." I'm like, I didn't
Right.
say that.
My,
I didn't say
I
that,
used
but
to have
go
a
ahead.
boss. I used to have a boss at the radio station that said, if I'm not getting angry hate mail at least once a month, you're not working hard enough. You're not doing your job. Like you're not making somebody care enough to write a letter of complaint. I've programmed
Hmm.
radio stations since 1995. I started coaching on-air radio talent then, teaching people how to stand in a room, talk to people they can't see, and hope you're entertaining them, building a relationship and trust with them, and moving them to action with influence. And I've been doing that since 1995. And I interviewed a lady one time. I was interviewing for a morning co-host. We were going to create a male female morning show like we normally do in radio. And I had
Hmm.
the guy, and I needed a female, and so I was interviewing her. And in my interviews, I like to ask, what is your greatest weakness? I ask, what's your greatest strength? And they talk all about themselves. And I say, what's your greatest weakness? And they always try and dance around it like, give me a weakness that's really look how great I am. So she said her greatest weakness was she's a people pleaser. I try to please people all the time. And she didn't get the job. Like right there, I'm like, all right, well, then you're not for me. Because I didn't end the interview there as abruptly as I should have. But when you say I'm a people pleaser, that just means I'm worried about not being liked. That's what a people pleaser is. You're afraid of offending somebody. And I
Hmm.
can't have you as a powerful on-air radio host being afraid that you're going to ruffle somebody's feathers. I need you to be on the show and share your authenticity. If you hate American Idol, then you need to tell me. If you love walking in mud and feeling it between your toes, then I need you to tell me that too. Because I need people to care about you as a person. I need them to get to fall in love with who you are, what you believe, what you value, what your perspective and your opinion is. Whether they love it or hate it, agree with it, disagree with it, at least they know who you are as a person. And if you're just vanilla, rating a 3, worried about upsetting people, then you're not going to be the magnetic authority I need you to be.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's clarify a couple terms that you use because I'm not sure everybody's going to understand them, and I want to make sure that we're on the wavelength that's serving the most. There's a word you used. It sounds familiar, but I'm not quite sure what it means. Radio. Is that the word? Radio? What?
So back in the olden days, we used to have this radio where there was actually two bands to it, AM and FM. It was crazy. And people would talk into a microphone and radio airwaves would come to your antenna and you'd pick it up. Yeah, it's like kids they might know radio and they're like, there's an AM band too? Like, yeah, it's completely different. It's crazy. Yeah,
Okay.
it
Now,
was radio is radio still reaches over 90% of American households every week. Radio's still powerful.
huh?
What a lot of people think is like, well, everybody's listening to music on Pandora or Spotify or YouTube or wherever. And that's true, but what we've discovered in radio is that people discover new music on the radio and then they go binge it on
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
favorite player.
Hmm.
And then they discover like artists. So if I hear an artist on the radio and I love it, I go binge it on my favorite streaming app. And then
Hmm.
that streaming app gives me other bands that are similar that might not be on a major record label. And so I'm able to discover a lot of different music that way as well. But People come to radio because they appreciate the curation of the music. I don't have to
Hmm.
go search for the music. I get the hits that I want to get hit. And then when I want to go find something eclectic, then I go to my streaming service and I find that. Now, there are some super fans that go, oh, I never listen to radio. I only listen to, the 16 bands that nobody's ever heard of because I'm that cool. I get it. Do your thing. But there are still a lot of people who love radio and what it delivers.
Well, I'm so glad I asked you that question. I was asking 80% in jest,
Yeah.
though I'm not a super fan that cool. Though it never occurs to me to listen to radio anymore. It's just like it doesn't cross my radar. However, you've inspired me. So go ahead.
And that's really what frustrates me about radio today, and really why I've been leaning into podcasts. With Podcast Talent Coach, my company, I've started coaching podcasters on how to share themselves with their audience. And a lot of radio today lacks that connection that we had in the past. Podcasting's like the new Wild West that radio used to be. When Rush Limbaugh launched in late 80s, early 90s, he started getting really big. It was because he connected with the audience. He shared himself authentically with the audience, and he was funny and entertaining. People listened to him because he was entertaining, not because he was just right wing, but not just because he was Republican or conservative and he shared those ideologies, though that was part of it. But when you listen to it, it was funny and it was entertaining. The only reason people listen to audio is because they need companionship. They don't want to do whatever it is they're doing by themselves. They go out on a run. They don't want to run by themselves, so they have their earbuds in and they're listening to something. They're driving in the car by themselves. They don't want to sit in silence. They need companionship, so they listen to the radio or their CDs or an audiobook or podcast or whatever it is they're consuming. They're just consuming it for companionship. So many people create content for the information and they wonder why it doesn't grow. It doesn't grow because people aren't staying for your information. They're staying because of you. And now there are so many knockoff shows that want to be what Rush was, and they're not succeeding because they think it's all about the content and all about the conservative nature of the show. And it's not. It's about entertainment. And nobody's as entertaining as Rush was when he started.
Okay, cool. Well, so that brings me back to another vocabulary term that I would like to get clear with you, which is more on the serious side, I think, but who knows? Let's find out. Context, right? I love what you said about people fall for the illusion that it's my content that matters, and so what a great space we're in right now where AI has really made it clear, like, nah, as you said, can do that way better, way faster, way cheaper. So will you say more about context, what that means? I know you have spoken about it, but just to give us some more.
Sure. When you create content, you might create your 6 steps to success or something like that. Dave Ramsey is a perfect example. If you've ever listened to the Dave Ramsey show, Dave Ramsey does a radio show. He teaches people how to get out of debt and stay out of debt. Dave's show recently has been pivoting. He's added more of the Ramsey personalities to his show because Dave's trying to figure out how to retire when Dave's name's on the show. Dave's been doing his radio show. So before he started adding these other personalities to the show, he did the show solo. He'd done it for about 30 years. 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, 52 weeks a year for 30 years. Dave teaches people how to get out of debt and stay out of debt. He does it through 7 baby steps. And every question on the show, nearly 100%, were answered with one of the 7 baby steps. You would ask the question, he would give you one of the 7 baby steps as the answer. Well, 9 times out of 10, he would say, I'm just going to walk you up the baby steps. All right. So first baby step, you got to get $1,000 baby emergency fund. Second, list all your debts, smallest to large. He will walk you right up it. Every answer, the exact same answer. The only difference in call to call, hour to hour, day to day, week to week was the context that the answer was wrapped around. It was the story leading into the answer. That's the only difference. Was the story, was the context. Too many people want to lean into their 7 baby steps. I already have your 7 baby steps. I don't need an 8th. Dave's not going, shoot, I really need to come up with that 9th baby step. What's that going to be? Like, No, he doesn't. He's got his formula. Just lean into the context. Wrap your content with story, your personal story, stories of people you've helped, stories of people you know about. Just wrap it in story and connect emotionally to your audience, and stop worrying about figuring out how to create more content. I don't need more content. I need different context around the same points you're creating and teaching.
Hmm. That's great. I love it. And let's take it a step further and tell me how this lands for you. My sense as you speak that is not only is giving a story or creating more context around the 7 steps or whatever the content is, not only is that what people are craving because they're craving connection, it's also what allows them to actually understand and implement the steps, right? It's like my
Yes.
sense of it is when I hear a story, then I can connect to it and I'm off the hook in some way. I'm a bystander here in some way. And then I'm like, oh, that's how it works over there. Wait, maybe I can do that too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Real magnetic authorities and magnetic leaders
Hmm.
don't just talk about what they do, they tell stories that make others believe it's possible for them too.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when you're just sharing your information, it becomes incredibly dull. I listen to audiobooks a lot.
Hmm.
And when I listen to audiobooks that are just the how-to guide to do the thing, and it doesn't include any case studies or stories of how people have succeeded doing this or any of that, it becomes like a textbook, and it's really dull and boring, and I don't want to listen to it anymore. But when I listen to audiobook that has examples and case studies and stories of people succeeding using this process, it becomes much more lively and enjoyable. And so rather than just leaning into the content, when you share the stories, you start connecting with people emotionally. Because here's the
Hmm.
truth to it: people don't like learning, they want to be
Hmm.
entertained,
Hmm.
right? They're coming to your show for entertainment, not just to learn something. Learning something doesn't engage us. A lot of my clients, when they come to me, they say, "Yeah, Eric, I'm having a tough time getting anyone to engage with my content." And I said, "Well, that's because you're pulling the wrong lever. You're trying to do the wrong thing. Nobody wants to engage with your content. They want to engage with you.
Hmm.
So if your content isn't creating any engagement, is because you're not sharing yourself and letting them engage with you. The content is just the vehicle to get them here. The context is what keeps them coming back."
Okay, cool. I love it. It's getting more clear, and I appreciate the way you're speaking of it. And what I'm hearing, tell me if this lands true for you, is in some ways that's so much easier, right? Because again, it's part of what I hear you saying is be yourself, let yourself out. And I don't know how it is for everybody. I know for myself in the past, and sometimes still, and some of my clients, it's like, I got to make sure I'm valuable and I give this information and make sure it's worthwhile. And part of what I hear you saying, Eric, is that's okay, but what people really want is who you are. They can get the information without you. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Yes. Because let's say they come to your content, whether that's you're creating or you're creating a YouTube channel, or you're writing a blog, or doing Facebook Lives, or whatever it might be that they're coming to your show or your content to get. Once they come and they get your 6 steps to success, there's no reason for them to come back. Like, I got
Hmm.
the information.
Hmm.
Why do I need to return? You've already given me what I've come for. But if you're crafting a story and a narrative, you're sharing with the audience your journey to success and making them believe they can do it too, they'll come back again and again and again.
Hmm.
You keep customers, you will keep listeners, you will keep viewers for life when you create an interest in yourself as an interesting person.
Hmm.
When you create that interest in you because of what you're sharing with people, they'll come back again and again and again. But when you're just creating content for the sake of education, They get it once and then they're done. They'll move on and find somebody else.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. Okay, so let's rewind and come from a different angle here in a sense, because one of the first things I asked you is, how are we screwing things up, right? And part of your response was being vanilla, which is a weird phrase. I don't get that, because vanilla is awesome. Vanilla's got an incredible flavor to it, but we know what that phrase means in the popular culture, right? Being boring, being afraid that I'm going to insult people or people aren't going to like me, that's a sure way to screw it up. Right. And so on the flip side, going for it and having some personality and sharing stories and letting ourselves out, that is what will lead to success and make us worth listening to. I'm still caught by something you spoke about earlier from your radio experience of standing in a room, speaking to people that you can't see and hoping that you will be interesting, engaging, entertaining, useful, that they will want to keep listening to you, right? That's just the way you spoke it landed for me. Like, that's a weird thing, right? Because we're hardwired as human beings to speak to actual people. That's part of why I like doing this show with video, right? And I know a lot of people just are going to just listen and they don't need the video, and that's okay. But what's this? What's the psychology? What's the energy behind, I mean, I'm picturing it like a blindfold on and I'm speaking out, and is anybody there? Can you say more about that?
Yeah, it's the difference between audio and video. A lot of people think video is so much more powerful, and it's actually the opposite. If you and I see a video, we see the exact same thing. There's very little left to the imagination, unless you're Alfred Hitchcock, who was phenomenal at not showing you what was going on, but making you feel it. It was phenomenal. Today, you watch a horror movie today, like if you watch Psycho, you never see anybody get killed in Psycho, but it's like, it was one of the great horror movies. Today, you see everybody get chopped up. I mean, they show it all. It's the difference. Audio stirs the theater of the mind, which is phenomenally powerful. If you think of a video, let's say you and I see a video of a red Mustang sitting in front of a casino. You and I see the exact same Mustang, exact same crowd, exact same casino, right? Nothing left to the imagination. But if I tell you a story about that red Mustang sitting in front of the casino, is it a 68 or an 86? Is it hardtop or convertible? Is it top up or down? Are the windows up? Is it nighttime or daytime? Is there anybody around it? Is anybody sitting in it? Are the lights of the casino on? Is it a busy, noisy casino, or is it quiet? Are we close to the street? Are we far away from the street? All of this comes to life in the theater of the mind in a way that's perfect for you, because you're envisioning it in a way that's perfect for you. When we watch a video, we see the exact same thing. It's much easier to create a powerful relationship and stir emotion through story when I tell it to you rather than when I show it to you. There was an old story about Ernest Hemingway, and somebody once asked Ernest to tell him the shortest story possible. Well, because Hemingway used to say you could write great short stories, and he said, "What's the shortest story that you could possibly write?" And Hemingway thought for a minute, and he said, "The shortest story that I could write goes like this: for sale, baby shoes, never worn." And that was it. And it's like, now, I didn't show you anything, all right? But in the theater of the mind, that whole story comes to life for you. Now, how much would I have to show you on video to stir that emotion in you? That's the power of audio. That's the power of using audio to really stir emotion within people and get them to connect with you in a way that it's very difficult to do with video.
Yeah, that's powerful, beautiful. And it is, I know we're in some ways we're speaking down about the content. However, on another level, what you're describing is what did Hitchcock say? What did Hemingway say? What did they provide? And what didn't they provide? What did they leave as a mystery? That is all creating for the audience. So
Yeah, and
go ahead. You,
I'm not saying content is not important. What I'm saying
mm,
is, content is like the entry to the party. Like that's your
mm,
ante into the game. Like you
mm,
have to have solid content, but how do you make your content differ from everybody else's? Like let's say you are a business coach, right? There are only so many ways you can succeed in business, right? If you want to increase sales, there's two ways to increase sales: get more customers or get your customers to buy more. That's the only way you're driving revenue, right? You get your current customers to spend more money with you or you get more customers. That's it. Like how many different ways can you teach it? Like that's all that you can do. And so the only way to separate you from every other business coach is to share you because no, I can't copy you. People say, "Oh, AI can copy you all day long." They can copy your voice and your words, but they can't. AI cannot copy your perspective, your opinion, and your thoughts and your emotions.
mm.
It can sound like you. I can feed it a bunch of words to say that may sound like you, but it won't be you because it won't have the emotion that you have.
Mm. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Well, so I'm curious, Eric, in your journey with discovering this, right? Part of it was, say, you interviewing a potential host for a show.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
imagining, though, that clearly you're a speaking professional, that you've had some encounters with these principles yourself. Is there a time that you can think of where you were leaning on what you know rather than who you are and bringing your personality? How did you learn this? How did it come clear for you?
I learned it in radio. So in radio, when you're on the air, my program director, the person that runs the station. So the program director is in charge of everything you hear that comes out of the speakers, music,
Mm,
promotions, imaging, everything you hear. If you hear it, it went through the program director. So my program director is my boss, telling me what to do, and so she helps me get better. And one day she punched me right in the throat and woke me up, not literally, but figuratively. So when you're on the radio, you have what's called an air check session, and most on-air
mm,
talent hate it. You come in with a recording of your show, you sit down with your program director, they listen to your show and they critique it right in front of you, and it's painful. It's like if you were in a writing class in college and you had to sit down while your professor read your paper and then critiqued it right in front of you. That's how painful it is. So I'm sitting in my air check one day and we're listening to my show. I'm doing nights at the time on an alternative station, and we're listening to the show, and we're just sitting there, and you're thinking in your head, what is she thinking about? Finally, she stops it, and she turns at me and she says, "When are you going to start being yourself?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "This that we're listening to. When are you going to start being yourself? Like all you're doing is you're using all the words and phrases that the morning guys use, and you can't be them better than they can be them. And all you're talking about is um, music news. You're not sharing anything. Like the audience isn't getting to know who you are or
mm,
what you're all about because you're trying to be the morning guys and you're sharing content they can get anywhere. When are you going to start being yourself?" And that was the day that it hit me. That was the day that I discovered I needed to just be my authentic self on the radio. Love me, hate me, flaws and moles, all whatever I got. You're going to get me for what I am. And there were some people that loved me and there were some people that didn't, but they all started to know me. And I eventually became the most listened to radio show in the state. And I wasn't even doing morning drive. I was doing afternoons by that time. And a lot of them, everybody thinks the morning shows have all the big listeners. I had more listeners than anybody on the radio because people got to know me. One time I'm the public address announcer of our local hockey team. And one day after the game, my wife and I and our two kids were walking down the concourse of the arena, and this couple were coming toward us. And they made eye contact, and I could tell that they wanted to stop and chat a bit. And so as they got close to us, they stopped and they were like, "Oh, Eric, that was a great game." And we started chatting about the game, and, "Oh, these must be your kids," and yada yada yada. So after a couple minutes, we wrapped it up, and they went on their way, and we went on our way. And my wife smacks me on the arm, and I went, What was that for?" And she goes, "Well, you didn't introduce me." And I said, "Honey, I have no idea who those people were." Like,
Huh.
they just listen to me on the radio, and they think they know me, and they come up to me as if we've been best friends forever, and I have no idea who they were. And so from that point on, my wife started introducing herself. When people like that would come up, she would go, "Oh, hi, I'm Jen." And then they would introduce themselves to her. And then now we all knew each other's names. But it was just a matter of me sharing myself authentically that really started building relationships with my audience. And that's how I
Mm.
learned it.
And was that easy for you? Like when you got that, I would call it criticism. I guess it was a question. You know, when are you going
Oh,
to start being yourself? How did that transition happen for you?
it was scary. It was
Huh.
I had the same voice in my head that everybody has. Like, I want people to like me. Like, we all want people to like us, right? It takes courage to step out and to be your authentic self and share yourself with your audience, because there are going to be some people who don't like it, but you're
Mm.
going to be remembered when you do. People remember you not for what you've done, they remember you for the stories that you share, and they remember you for how you make them feel. And when you can make them feel something by sharing yourself with them, um, people might criticize you. There will be a few, but ignore them and lean into the people who love you for who you are and what you do.
That's beautiful. That's
It,
great.
it
Thank
took
you.
me a long time to overcome that. It took me a long time to get to that place. It's easily said, it's not easily done. You have to
Mm.
have people in your corner who love you. What I recommend to a lot of the people that I work with, a lot of the coaches that I help through this, I have them print off the emails that they get that they say, "Daniel, man, that show was phenomenal. I loved it. What a great interview." Or they say, "Thanks for the great coaching. I love the workshop you took me through. It was so powerful. It changed my life." Print those out and put them on the wall. So when you get the troll that emails you and goes, "You look funny in glasses," you can go read all of the love letters that you got from the people that you've helped, and understand there are people out there that truly love you for who you are, and you can ignore the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And ultimately, it's not our job anyway, whether they like us or don't like us, right? Our job is to be authentic, to give the best we can, and to help people feel. And whatever they feel, that's their stuff anyway. So I love the permission and the encouragement you're giving for this. Um,
Yeah.
time's
And
flying
and
for.
it,
Go
and
ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt, Daniel. Sorry about that. We're talking a lot about content creators and entrepreneurs and coaches, but this is true for everybody.
Hmm.
If you're walking into a job interview, the way you're going to stand out in your job interview is to be you.
Hmm.
You can share all of the things you know and the degrees that you have and the positions you've held in the past, but that's not going to make people remember you. You're going to make that interview remember you by sharing who you are and making them feel something. Tell them a story, because people will remember your stories. They're not going to remember you got your degree from West Undershirt University and you've had 6 jobs, as the VP. Nobody cares. Like, everybody's got that, right? But how are you going to separate yourself from everybody else? Stand apart and tell your story.
Yeah, beautiful. Right. And I'll add on just to say, too, that I know for me, of course, I practice this and do my best with it. And like a lot of people, when I do get criticism or somebody says they don't like me with glasses or shaved head or beard, whatever the thing is they criticize, I can feel sensitive to that. Right. And I love that also, because then that gives me a chance to say, well, is there something about me that's bothering me? Well, if so, then great. That's material for me to overcome. I can love myself more. So,
Yeah.
but let's switch gears, Eric, because time's flying. Is there anything I haven't asked you about that you would love to bring forward here?
Mm, if you're an entrepreneur or you're a coach and you're out there and you feel like you're not getting noticed, the reason is you're not stepping into the authority of who you are.
Hmm.
It's so easy for us to forget what we know because we know it and we've known it for so long. It's hard for us to remember what it was like to not know.
Hmm.
And so first embrace what you know and who you are, because there are people who want to be like that and are
Mm,
struggling to get there. So if you're a coach or an entrepreneur and you're helping people solve problems, remember it's a challenge for them to solve it. It might be easy for you, but help them get there. And then the second thing is, if you're trying to build authority in your niche, do that by borrowing authority from those who already have it. So if you're
mm,
trying to attract an audience, figure out who already has the attention of that audience, and then partner with them to get in front of their audience. And then you can put them in front of your audience as well and help each other. So find somebody that complements what you do. If you're a business coach, you might find a life coach. If you write great resumes, you might find somebody who does great job interviews, and find and partner with each other to get in front of that audience, but sell through people rather than to people.
mm. Awesome. I love it. Okay. You have a gift for our audience, I believe. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what we've been talking about today, it's how to become someone worth listening to. Like how to go from being the best kept secret to the sought after authority in your niche. So this is really powerful if you are a coach, if you an information expert, if you teach people something. It's also very helpful if you're an entrepreneur, but even if you're in everyday life and you're just trying to get noticed and rise above the rest of the crowd, you want to grab this: how to go from being the best kept secret to sought after authority in your niche. It's a short video series that I've created, and you can download it at podcasttalentcoach.com/authority. That's podcasttalentcoach.com/authority, and it'll help you become that magnetic authority in your niche.
Mm. That's awesome. What a generous, cool gift. So this word authority is one of my favorite words. I feel like it's often misunderstood. How do you define it? What does it mean for you, Eric?
To me, authority is someone who is respected in their niche, seen as knowledgeable, but more importantly, has influence and can
Mm,
move a room to action.
mm,
So if you're an authority in your space, people come to you for solutions. You're able to move them to action to get them to take that action and solve their problem. Interesting thing you said at the beginning of the show is that um, information doesn't create the transformation, right? And I love that saying. I love information doesn't create the transformation. It's the implementation
mm.
that creates the transformation. I can give you information all day long, but if you don't do anything with it, there's nothing I can help you do. And a true authority shares the story that makes others believe they can do it and inspires them to take action so they can experience the transformation.
Yeah, beautiful. I heard someone say the other day, uh, where a lot of people fall short is they're learning things so they can explain them or teaching, where there's another possibility, which is learning something so we can understand it and implement it ourselves and then become that lesson. So then when we share it, there's an automatic transfer for people. There's the automatic inspiration because, oh, they're not just talking about something they heard. It's something that they actually embody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to put it into action, live it, breathe it, and well, there's no sense in learning anything unless you're actually going to use it for your own betterment and even if you learn it to teach it to somebody else, that betters you because you find
Hmm.
the fulfillment in
Hmm.
helping somebody else take that step. But if you're not going to take action with anything, there's no use in filling up a whole bunch of notebooks with the content.
As addictive as that may be for some of us.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
yes, indeed.
Okay. Eric, well, we could go on and on. There's so much I'd love to ask you and so much wisdom that you have. Let's shift gears, though, because time is winding down for us. Well, let me ask this. Aside from your generous gift, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you to connect with what you're up to?
Yeah, you can find me. My website is podcasttalentcoach.com. That's podcasttalentcoach.com. My contact information is right there. You can always reach out to me through the website. find all my content, my worksheets, my coaching information, my podcast. It's all over there for you.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, cool. Then I think that brings us to the final question, the big question. It's so big that it's impossible. And I joke like that only partially because the truth is you've got 35 plus years of experience in this realm, and I'm now asking you to distill it, bring it down. If you had one thing to share with our audience to help them live their most vibrant, thriving life, what's that one thing?
The one thing I would share with everybody to live a vibrant and thriving life is to have fun. If you don't enjoy doing it, find something else to do. I always told myself, if I wasn't enjoying whatever I was doing, I was going to go find something else to do. I got my degree in architecture. I was a draftsman in high school. I was a draftsman in college. About 3.5 years into my architecture degree, I took radio for the non-major because I accidentally got a job in radio. My brother worked at the radio station, and his boss called one day looking for some help. He wasn't there. He said, "You want a job?" I said, "I'm a broke college kid. I'll take it." Took the job, started falling in love with radio. I was falling out of love with architecture. Architecture was just becoming, it wasn't what I dreamt it was going to be. And I was a great draftsman. It was moving to AutoCAD and computers, and I was not interested. But radio provided that creative outlet that I needed. And so I finished my architecture degree and I stayed in radio, and everybody said, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "If you're not enjoying what you're doing, find something else to do." And that's it. Have fun. Have fun. And I tell my kids that. I go, "Hey, if you don't like it, go do something else." Like, you should be having fun. And fun can be found in anything you do. I mean, if you have to clean the house, oh, it's a chore. There's some fun to be had if you figure it out. If you figure out why you enjoy it and what it gives you, like when you're done cleaning the house, if you sit down and you enjoy a beautifully clean house, that's going to bring you that joy, and it'll make next time a little more fun. So that's my tip. Have fun.
I love it. I've asked hundreds of people that question, and that's the first time I've heard that response. And I think of it as, in some way, love yourself enough to know that you deserve to be enjoying and having fun and creating fun.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Don't be afraid of what's out there. People say, "Oh, if you don't like your job, quit and go find something else." And they're like, "Well, then nobody's hiring. There's nothing out there." Then you're not being you, and you're not looking hard enough. There's always something out there. You can always find the right people to put you in the right place at the right time with the right audience, and you're going to find your next thing.
Hallelujah. Beautifully said. Awesome. Erik, thank you so much for not only for this time, which I appreciate, but also for all these years of work that you've put into this and the caring that's clearly there and the expertise in sharing yourself with us. Thank you so much.
Daniel, thanks for having me. It was great seeing you. I appreciate you having me on the show.
You are so welcome. All right. And for y'all in the audience, thank you. Holy moly, where'd you go? Thank you. There we are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being interested in creating a even more thriving life. I love that you're with us. Again, do something with it. Erik taught you a lot here today. Put it into action in your life. Y'all, thank you so much.